You are listening to 100 Wealth Building Secrets with James Marshall. James Marshall is a registered investment advisor and president of Marshall Wealth Management. His registered investment advisory firm is registered in Texas and Kentucky. For 30 years, he has been educating, advising, and managing wealth for diverse families all over the country. This podcast is about different concepts of wealth building, some financial, some emotional, physical, and yes, some spiritual. The bottom line is you will leave with some knowledge, and knowledge is wealth. So whether you're walking, running, exercising, or having your choice of beverages, no judgments here, clear. Then open your mind and get ready for some life-changing financial lessons. It's your time. Here's your host, James Marshall.
Welcome, Wealth Builders, to podcast number 62. Don't count other people's money. Stay in your lane. I wish I had his car. I wish I had her house. If only I had their money. You know, for decades, magazines, television shows, and movies have been telling you your life is not good enough. And now social media has taken it to the next level. You know, now I get it. It's hard not to be influenced by the amazing lifestyles constantly being fed into your feed every minute. And it will make you forego your common sense to acquire some of that shine. But the question is, which do you want? Do you want to build wealth or live wealthy? Wealth is relative. And what I mean by that, what is wealthy for you may not be wealthy for someone else. The key factors of wealth is the ability to live off the interest or the dividends of your investments without touching the principal or capital gains. Doing this allows you to establish perpetual wealth by leaving the interest or dividend paying assets to your heirs. You got $1 million, you live off the interest or dividends from that $1 million, leaving that $1 million to your heirs. That's wealth. When you start counting other people's money by adding up the value of their cars, their house, and their bling, you make several assumptions that may or may not be true. You make assumptions like, they can afford these things, they're not in over their head in debt, or these items will appreciate in value. Well, most of the items that they're buying depreciate instead of appreciating. Most people are over their head in debt with some of the things they buy. And a lot of people cannot afford the lifestyle they're presenting out to you. It's financed at a high interest rate. I'm not saying that's the case across the board, but oftentimes that is the case. In the words of Will Rogers, he said, "Too many people spend money they haven't earned to buy things they don't need to impress people they don't like." That's a mouthful for sure. Newsday.com had an article, and it basically said, "We see what others want you to see." That's important to remember when we're stewing about someone else's spending. Economists and psychologists say we care about our status, especially relative to our peers, more so than we do about the reality of maintaining the proper lifestyle. And what we consume can be a way of keeping track of our status in relation to our peers. This is explained by what is called conspicuous consumption. Conspicuous consumption was first identified by economist Thorstein Veblen in his book in 1899 called The Theory of Leisure Class. Conspicuous consumption is peer pressure about spending and concerns about keeping up with the Joneses. These things limit your wealth. You just need to take a quick glance at your Facebook feed to see how much effect this has on your spending, just what conspicuous consumption can do. This whole idea of keeping up with the Joneses can redirect your wealth into things that will hinder your wealth instead of increasing your wealth. I had an opportunity to talk about this with one of my amazing clients, Miss Journée Rideau. Journey owns a specialty almond milk company called Produce Milk and is also a lifestyle influencer. You can check her out on her website, producemilk.com, or follow her on Instagram at an ounce of Journey. Let's welcome her to the show.
All right, we're sitting here with Janae Rideau.
Thank you.
Now, as a budding entrepreneur, someone who's trying to build wealth and doing it by working for a company as well as running your own business, have you found yourself getting discouraged by seeing other people who are doing better than you or seem to be doing better than you, especially on social media?
Oh, yes, definitely. In many ways, I've actually, I've had to take several social media breaks. I've currently in the habit where I really don't scroll. So I may post, but I may not scroll because that comparison demon is real. And yes, I can easily get caught up into comparing myself to people I don't know. I don't know their journey and their struggle, but I see what I'm viewing. I'm like, man, I should be there right now because I'm in my 30s. I should already have this, that, and the other. And it turns into me being very hard on myself because I feel like I'm not there. Of course, I overlook all the accomplishments I've been able to make, and I ignore my own journey. Like, you just in that moment, you're not thinking of everybody has their own journey. We have our own struggles and stuff, but you don't think about that. But also just not even social media, but just looking at my friends who are married and some that are entrepreneurs themselves and doing well, even though they have their own journeys, and I've been able to witness that. But you're kind of seeing the glow up right now. It's like, man, perhaps it would be easier if I was married, and if I was married, I wouldn't have to struggle so much financially or do things on my own. So all of those things definitely come up. But when you kind of focus on your own business, it definitely eliminates a lot of that stress
Yes.
that we put on ourselves. So definitely, I have to cut off, social media every now and then just to prevent myself, because sometimes you're just not as strong as you think you are, and so I have to kind of eliminate that until I get to a place where I can handle it. And
I always say to people all the time in relation to that, you may see them doing this, but you don't know what hardships they're dealing with. You may see them driving this car. You don't know what the car payment is or what the car insurance is. What's the flip side of that bling or that glow, as you say, that they're providing?
Yeah, that is true. Because one of my friends did share with me, she was paying $900 a month for an older vehicle. And I was like, what? Why would you do that? And so, and even amongst my friends, like, I'm known to be the responsible, financially savvy person. And, I am very responsible. But when I look in my account, like, it's like, but I should be doing better. Like, I have these expectations for myself, especially I feel like my parents kind of set a high bar for me. And so in my mind, I'm competing with them as well. So yeah, it's
you just got to stay in your own lane, because it all boils down to you should be successful compared to what? It should be compared to what you set for yourself. Correct. What is your lane? What are your goals? Stay in that lane and stay focused on what you're trying to accomplish. Just the main thing.
Very true. Very true. And I can say I'm very proud of what I've been able to accomplish, especially within the past 5 years. So bouncing back from divorce and kind of starting over and financially for sure. And so I do have to give myself a pat on the back.
Absolutely. Now, on the flip side of that, have there been images or people or magazine articles or TV shows or any type of media bliss that has affected you in a positive way to keep you focused on doing better for yourself financially?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of I guess content out there that, financial advice and things like that, some people read and they're like, oh, this is new to me, but I'm like, I've been doing this. All right. Know about this. So that encourages me, makes me feel like I've been doing right, or my parents raised me well, or just meeting with you has really helped me. So I'm getting the nuggets. So I'm really grateful for that.
So the main thing is just staying within your skin, staying focused, staying true to yourself, and just continue to put in the work, right?
Yeah, just manage what you got going on, because that is enough. There is so much out there. And of course, social media has opened us up to, far beyond your state, country. And so it's just too much, and you can get caught up down a slippery slope real fast. So yeah, just focus on what you got going on in your own life, for sure.
Amen to that. Thank you so much, Janae, for taking a few minutes out to spread some of your knowledge to the listeners.
No problem.
Now, do you have a IG site or a website that you want to share with everyone?
Yeah, so for my business, the IG handle is Produce Milk. For my personal IG, it is an ounce of Journey. The business website is producemilk.com as well.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I think Journey was keeping it plain, making it simple, telling you what she thinks. And I think it's good information that we received from her. Measuring ourselves against others can spur some people to economic success, but it can also lead people to waste money on things that aren't really important and miss out on things that are. It's important for you to stay in your lane and focus on your wealth. And if you're trying to accomplish this wealth, make sure that you're talking to the right people. I'm not saying that you should not listen to or read about people who've accomplished goals you're trying to accomplish. You absolutely should spend time learning and listening to successful wealth builders. You just need to make sure that you can trust the source. Well, until next time, keep building wealth. Peace.
You have been listening to 100 Wealth Building Secrets with James Marshall. Keep increasing your knowledge by going to marshallyourmoney.com and check out our educational videos, newsletters, and calculators. There you can also sign up for your free copy of his book, 100 Wealth Building Secrets. Like this podcast and follow it on podbean.com. You can also follow us on social media platforms: Facebook, Black Family Wealth, Twitter, James Marshall at Marshall Wealth, Instagram, Marshall Wealth, LinkedIn, James Marshall, and on YouTube, James Marshall Financial Educator. Email your questions or thoughts to James at marshallyourmoney.com. Thank you for listening. And remember, we build wealth one family at a time.
I know you can. I teach you how to save. Don't waste your money, but bank your money. Don't spend your ends. I teach you how to save. Your bank account will be spilling out with them dividends. I teach you how to save. Rule number one: if it ain't making money, it ain't making sense.